Michael McCann.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, Mr Brown, and thank you for being here this morning. You mentioned a few moments ago that the MDGs won't be met by 2015, and we know that many of them are significantly off target. Do you believe that it's because that we set far too ambitious targets for the MDGs, or do you believe that governments across the globe, their response has been far too insipid?
To say that every child should be at school in the year 2015 is not an ambitious target, in my view. It is a matter of human dignity, and it's a moral demand upon us to meet something that most people would say was a natural right of individuals in every part of the world. And, I went to Tanzania a few months ago, and I met some young people in their teens who were pleading to be able to go to school. And when you talk to kids here, they accept it as something for granted, and probably sometimes we prefer not to go to school. But these teenagers were pleading to go to school, and they knew the importance of education to their lives. And then I went to school in Uganda, and I met children there, and they were proudly showing me their computer. And they were all round this computer, dozens of them, one computer in this school. And to be honest, the computer was no better than a typewriter, because it had no internet connections, it was moving so slowly, the power supply was obviously not stable anyway. And here we had young kids proud of having a computer in the school, but we knew, as we looked at it, this computer could make no difference to their education because it wasn't linked to any of the educational services that could be provided. Now, to me, it is a matter of necessity that for security as well as moral, but also for economic reasons, that every child has a chance of education around this world. The fact that 70 million children don't go to school at the moment is something that is completely unacceptable. The fact that many of these children are in middle-income countries is very unacceptable as well. And we know that in India there's still 8 million children that have to get the chance of schooling, although they've made huge progress. In Nigeria, an oil-rich country, large numbers of children, probably 7 or 8 million, are still not going to school. The majority of kids not going to school are girls, and that is something that is, again, completely unacceptable because it is a form of discrimination. Now, the average expenditure on a pupil in sub-Saharan Africa is about $180 a year. That's about 130, 140 pounds a year. This is not an impossible goal. It could be met very easily. Now, what have you got to do? You've got to build the schools and have the teachers. We need to train 2 million teachers a year. There is no system in the developing countries at the moment that can produce 2 million extra teachers a year. So that is a priority, that we've got to be able to deliver that. And I think we can do that. We've got to use the internet and services, for example, correspondence learning courses, both to train teachers and give educational information to pupils. So we've got to use the most modern means of communications to do this. And at the same time, well, I think we've got to make sure that the countries who are responsible for educating their children spend about 20% of their budgets on education. And I think we've got to make sure that we honour the commitments that have been made in this country, commitments that have been made and have been reinforced, commitments in other countries that are in danger of not being met. We have got to make sure that people are aware of how this is such a priority for the future. And I'll be publishing in the next few months with other people a plan for how we can meet the 2015 target and still do it, even although there is a massive backlog of numbers, 70 million still to go to school, and even although there's a massive shortage of teachers in the countries that need to have the teaching staff.
We will come back to you.